All right, everybody, with that being said, it is now time to move on to my favorite part of the show, gun talk. As many of you out there are probably already aware, I recently bought a new Mossberg 590 Retrograde shotgun. Retrograde just meaning, I guess, old-timey, which I guess would mean I'm a retrograde model also. But a lot of people have been asking me, am I going to make any changes to this? What modifications will I make to this gun to make it a little more usable? And I thought today I would take some time to address those questions. Well, one of the things I'm going to add here is a little side saddle here, to carry some extra rounds. This is an 8+1 shot shotgun, and when I put 6 more rounds here on the side, that'll give me a total of 15 rounds. So I will be adding this. I will also be adding a top rail right here. In fact, this works in conjunction with the side saddle. The rail just goes right on top of the side saddle mount here, and the screws go through the top of the rail, through the side saddle, into the top of the gun. And since now looking down the gutter of that rail is going to raise my rear sight a little bit, I need to raise my front sight a little bit. So I'm going to be replacing the small brass bead that comes on it with an XS big dot front sight. Now the side saddle and the top rail are easy to put on here because this thing is drilled and tapped here with screws. So I just have to take these screws out, put those items in place, and put the screws they came with back in. All right, this sight comes with the Allen wrenches and the screws you need to put it on. So let me get the screws out and put a little Loctite on them. All right, now I just got to set this in place right over the holes. Set the sight in place right over the holes also. And then start the screws. Get them all 4 started before I snug them down. Now once they're all in, just get them all good and snug. All right, there's the easy part done. Got the rail on there, got the side saddle on there, and this is by Monstrum, by the way, in case you're wondering what this is. I believe it's Monstrum Tactical. But this is a Monstrum rail and side saddle, and like I say, went on real easy. It's on there nice and tight now, so now I've got to do the front sight. All right, the front sight's going to require a little more work because the brass bead that comes on this gun is a little too small to work with the XS, a big dot sight. So you have to take this one out and put the one that they actually include with the sight in its place, and then you can get about putting the front sight on. All right, since I don't have the proper tool to remove this, I'm just going to do it with a pair of needle nose. And since I'm doing that, I'm going to go ahead and put a piece of tape over the sight here so that in case I slip off while I'm doing it with the needle nose, it won't scratch up my barrel. Actually, my little cutters here seem to have a good grip on it, so I'll just use them. Came right off there. All right, and now because I'm going to have to put some adhesive on this after I put the sight on, I'm going to give it a good cleaning with some alcohol just to make sure it's free of any debris or adhesives or oil, etc. And then just start screwing this in. And it went in there good and tight enough with the Loctite by finger. You don't have to really try to do anything real super tight on it because the sight itself is going to be adhered to the gun. So it just needs to be screwed in there and you'll be fine. All right, as you might see now, the front sight's already on, and that's because I ran out of tape or something, and it quit recording, so I had to make some more room on the little card. So you missed a couple of little things here, but nothing major. All I did was mix up just a tiny little dollop of JB Weld here. I put that on the bottom of the sight, on the rear side of the sight, and then I stuck the sight down over the little bead because it goes right over it. There's a hole in the bottom of the sight. Lined it up on the barrel nice and straight. Put it in place, and then once I did that, I took a little Q-tip with alcohol, wiped all the way around to make sure to get off all that excess JB Weld, because you don't want that drying on the outside there. That'll be hell to get off if you don't get it off while it's wet. So I got all that off with some alcohol and some Q-tips, got it nice and clean, and now it's just going to have to sit for 24 hours, and it'll be ready to go. All right, there it is, all put together with the new side saddle, new rear rail, and new front sight. So now this gun is ready to go as soon as I find myself a halfway decent sling for it.